Heartfelt thanks to Sri Krishnamurti Mama for having invited me. And the thing that he said was, Santhi, don't do a full-fledged concert, it has to be a unique thing. And then we came up with this theme, and so Mama Namaskaram to you. Thanks to all of you who are assembled here to listen to this unique program of Kritis and stories. It is going to be themed, or it is going to be on Lord Guruvayoor, and therefore I am calling it Guruvayoor Mahadevan. We are going to listen to the legends and mythological stories associated with Guruvayoor and the deity there. So the first question that comes to mind is, why Guruvayoor? Why not any other deity or any other temple? Almost all of us know that every deity in every temple is the most benevolent. And many temples have their own legends associated with them, stories about how they came to be consecrated, etc. But why Guruvayoor? And why embark on such a project like singing and telling stories or Nama Kirtanams? Why do this at all? That is the first thing that came to my mind. So, why Guruvayoor? I have two reasons. One I would like to call silly, and the other one is a real reason. The silly reason is that my mother hails from Guruvayoor, and many of the stories that I am going to tell you today, I have heard it from her first hand as a description of her first hand experience. And therefore I wanted to tell that because there can be no better proof for the existence of the divinity. The second most important thing is that, like I mentioned before, all the temples will have stories about how they were consecrated or legends associated with why that temple came to be or things like that. All that happened in the Yor. But in case of Guruvayoor, how did that temple come to be? And the legends, the stories, the mythological episodes that I'm going to tell you happened in very, very recent past. As late as early as 16th century, 17th century, 18th century, why not even 19th century, in our time, in our generation. Many of the stories have happened in recent past with archaeological proof for that, evidences for that. And therefore I thought, why not talk about Guruvayoor? And it is a temple very close to most of our hearts also. For those of you who have not visited the temple, I sincerely request you to go there at least once, because once you step into that precincts, you will feel the divine presence there. I'm sure you'll feel the divinity there. So that is the main reason for choosing Guruvayoor. And then why this Nama Sankirtanam? Why talk about Guruvayoor? Why talk about the stories? Why should you chant? Our own sacred book, the Bhagavad Gita, advises us of at least 3 methods of moksha. The Bhakti Margam, the Jnana Margam, and the Karma Margam. Karma Yogam, Bhakti Yogam, and the Jnana Yogam as we call it. But many scholars before me and very, very learned persons from their own experience and otherwise state that music or Nama Sankirtanam, chanting the Lord's names or singing His stories or listening to His stories, is no less of a yoga. It is the 4th yoga called the Nada Yoga. And Bhakti Margam, and in that Nama Sankirtanam is actually the easiest path apparently in Kali Yuga. So we are trying to do this now. I will get blessed because I am trying to sing and say. All of you will be blessed because you are trying to listen, and that is why we are trying to do this Nama Sankirtanam. And not only us in our current generation, but if we recount from history, Valmiki, who was actually a nobody, got advised by sage Narada to repeat an apparently no meaning word called Mara. He didn't know the meaning, he just took Narada's advice and kept repeating Mara, 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 Mara. And it became Rama. And because of that Nama chanting, what did he achieve and what he attained, we all know. He wrote the Ramayana and became immortal. Right? Another example, Bhishma Charya. He fought on the side of Dharma. He was felled by an arrow from Arjuna, and he was lying on the Sharashaya, the bed of arrows, awaiting his death, awaiting the Uttarayanam for an apt moment to leave his body. And what did he do then? Chanted the Vishnu Sahasranam. Sahasranam, 1000 names of Vishnu. Before even he completed that, Krishna was on the scene. So that is another example to show you the power of Nama chanting. And then Hanuman chanted Rama, 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 Rama and crossed 100 yojanas of very deep sea. Same Rama, Rama, Rama chanting brought him back to this side with Sita Devi's Chudamani. And then, when Rama decided to construct the Setu Bandhanam, he decided to do the Setu Bandhanam or construct the Setu. Hanuman kept chanting Rama, 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 and he made granite rocks float on water. Okay, so those are episodes in mythological stories. Let's come to as late as 17th century, 18th century, Tyagaraja Swami, Muthuswami Dikshidhar. Tyagaraja Swami kept singing Rama, 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 Rama and became one with God, one with Rama on Bagula Panchami day. Muthuswami Dikshidhar kept chanting the name of Amma, Amma. He sang Meenalochani, Pashamochani and then became one with the goddess at the Meenakshi Amman temple on Diwali day. So that is the power of Nama chanting or even listening to his stories. And I guess that's why we are all assembled over here. Many singers, many composers of Yor have come up with beautiful compositions. explaining this theme. This theme in the sense, Nama chanting gives you Paramanandam. It gives you Brahmanandam. Kalyana Vasantam composition of Tyagaraja Swami. Nadaloludai Brahmanandamandame. Nadam gives you Brahmanandam. There is another one by Tyagaraja Swami, Nadopasana. If you do Nadopasana, he composed it in Vedara Ragam. Shankara, Narayana, Vidhulu. Shankara and Narayana and Vidhi, which is Brahma. Even they who reign supreme as a trinity of Hinduism, they bow down to Nadam. If you do an Upasana of the Nadam, even Shankara, Narayana and Brahma will bow down to you. So that is why again we are trying to chant this Nama here today. It may be by way of singing, it may be by way of saying stories, it may be by way of listening, just listening. But we are doing Nama Ramayana, we are doing Nama chanting over here by reciting stories, and it gives you the Parama Sukham. It is a Sukham by itself to listen to Narayana Nama. Can we have a brief look at how Tulasi Vanam dealt with this topic? What do you get if you do Nama chanting? What do you get if you listen to stories? Can we try that? Nama Shravana Sukham. Nama Shravana Sukham. Nama Shravana Sukham. Thus, to tell the story about Lord Guruvayoor, Lord Narayana, and to listen to him, all of us are assembled over here. And having looked at why talk about Guruvayoor and why should we listen to the stories, why Guruvayoor in particular, it's very apt that I tell you about the deity of Guruvayoor. The deity is none other than Lord Krishna himself. So I have to tell a brief story about him, although all of you know it very, very, very well. Once upon a time in Mathura, there lived a king called Ugrasena with his wife Payodha. He ruled very well, very just king, very fair king. They prayed to Lord for a son, and they were blessed with a son. They called him Kamsa. Most unfortunately, he grew up with a character which was neither deserved by them nor desired by them. So they prayed to God again, "Oh God, when do we have a redemption from this?" God in all his benevolence blessed them again, saying, "You will be blessed with a girl. Through her, you will have your redemption." And a girl was born to them. She was called Devaki. And given that Kamsa was the worst possible person with the worst possible character, but he still loved his sister very, very much. So when Devaki reached marriageable age, he got her married to one of his best friends, Vasudeva. And he was so happy about the marriage. He conducted it in a very grand fashion. And he was taking them home in his chariot, acting as the charioteer himself. He was a Devaki Sarathi for Devaki and Vasudeva. He was going, lo and behold, like we all believe, happy things do not last for long. Right? Life itself is a mixture of happiness and sadness. So as he was driving them, as he was taking the chariot towards the palace, a corporeal voice, we can even call it incorporeal voice, a divine voice was heard from the skies. And it said, "The 8th child born to this very couple is going to bring about your end." And his original character kicked in. He was ready with the sword to kill Devaki. And then Vasudeva, who was his great friend, fell at his feet and he said, "Why do you want to kill a woman? Why do you want to take all your anger out on a woman? Why show all these atrocities on a woman? She didn't do anything to you. We didn't do anything to you yet." So Kamsa, the mean person that he was, would not give in to anything. Finally, Vasudeva had to make the ultimate promise. He said, "The Devaki is not supposed to kill you, is she? No. The 8th child born to her is going to kill you, right?" That's what the voice said. "We will hand over every single child born to us to you." And with that terrible promise made by Vasudeva, that appeased Kamsa a little bit. And Kamsa said, "Yes, okay, I'll spare her life, but that doesn't mean you're free. I'm going to take you back, put you right in jail so that you are right in front of my eyes. I know what's happening. I know about the birth of every child. I should know." So the newly married couple, who were being brought to the palace actually, instead of having a grand Griha Pravesham, they had a fantastic Hara Griha Pravesham. They had a jail Pravesham. So they were imprisoned, and in due course of time, 6 children were born to her. All the 6 were mercilessly, ruthlessly dashed against the stone and killed by Kamsa. Sorry, it sounds disgusting, but apparently that's what happened. The 7th child, we all know, because of fervent prayers by Vasudeva and Devaki, they were able to transfer the pregnancy to the stomach of Rohi. And Balarama was born over there, thus the 7th child also survived. Devaki became pregnant an 8th time. And she was at a loss about what to do now. If Kamsa knows about this, he is going to kill this child also. How can you smuggle out another child? We already tried that once. With divine help, the pregnancy itself was transferred, okay. But now what do we do with this child? And this child is supposed to be the savior. How can we save him? How can we save him? When she was lamenting in the jail, when she was whining, when she was crying like this with pure bhakti towards Krishna in her heart, Mahavishnu, with all his attributes, appeared before the couple in the jail. All his attributes, I mean Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, all the 4. interest of the little kids over here, I thought I'll add in one thing. What is the name of his shankar? It's called the Panchajanyam. The chakra was called the Sudarshana. The mace, the club, the gadha is called the Kaumodari. And the lotus is of course lotus, Padma. So with all these four, Shankha, Chakra, Gada and Padma, with Panchajanyam, Sudarshanam, Kaumodari and the Padma, he appeared before Devaki and Vasudeva and made a promise to them saying, don't worry, I will come. I am the one coming. Don't worry at all, I will instruct Vasudeva accordingly. We will take care of the whole situation, you don't worry about anything. But remember, the jail was a constricted space, right? It was a very limited space. So it was Mahavishnu in his full form, yes. But it was not that Ajana Bahu Rupam, it was a Kishora Vishnu. It was a small little Vishnu. So a small Mahavishnu with all Mahavishnu attributes. That was what was presented as a vision to Devaki and Vasudeva. Later on, when we talk about Mepatur Narayana Bhattadiri, we find a beautiful description calling this Vesham as Divya Kaishora Vesham. Kishora Vesham. He is not a Balaka, he is not a baby. He is not a Kumara, he is not a, what do you call? He is not a Kumara, he is not a Balaka, he is a Kishora. So thus, God promised Devaki that he will be born. And in due course, a little child was born. And how did it look? Pannisaikum, Pavaravai Idalu, Pankaja Kannalagu, Kundalam Tigal Sheviyum, Venshankham Tigiri, Ole Karangalum, Tantulabam, Tavalmargal Ninnam, Muppuri Noolum. Well, this description is not by me, it is by Ambujam Krishna. Let's. Pannisaikum, Pavaravai Idalum, Pannisaikum, Pavaravai Idalum, Pankaja Kannalagum, Kundalam Tigal Sheviyum, Venshankham Tigiri, we celebrate as Krishna Avataram, Janmashtami, etc. Now, if I take up time to talk about Krishna's Leelas only, that will take up I don't know how much time and how many days. So I'll just rush through his and how he came to be a Guruvayoor. That is the aim and where I'm going. That's the goal and where I'm going. So Krishna was born, and then, as we all know, he was transferred to Nandagrama. Yogamaya was brought this side. Yogamaya slipped away from Kamsa's hands with big blessing for him, saying, "Your slayer is yet alive." The 8th child grew up with Nanda Gopal and Yashoda. And at Vrindavan, at Brajbhumi, he did all kinds of Bala Leela, including big things like Bhutana Moksha, Chatagasura Moksha, and with the help of Balarama, Dhenukasura Vata also. And then he became a little big boy. When he was frolicking around with all the girls, he did all the Rasa Krida, Rasa Leela, everything. After that, he went on to marry Rukmini by taking her away and in that process killing Shishupala. And thus Rukmini Swayamvaram came to be. And finally he grew up a very matured man ruling over Dwaraka. And then the Mahabharata war took place. He had to come. He took the side of the Dharma and he became the friend, philosopher, everything, teacher to Arjuna. And by the way, Arjuna was his brother-in-law also. Did you know that? Krishna's sister Subhadra is married to Arjuna also. So he became Sarathi, charioteer for Arjuna in all sense, not just driving his chariot but driving his senses, driving his thoughts, driving his thinking, everything, advising him in every possible way. So Krishna became Partha Sarathi. And then after the Mahabharata war and all that, he believed that adharmam had been eliminated and he now thinks it is time for me to go back to where I came from. Because I took the form of a human, any human born in this world has to depart one day. So Krishna himself was no exception because he had taken the human form, Manushya Avatara, and therefore it was time for him to go. So from the days of Maharaja Ugrasena, there was a family deity being worshipped and the family deity was called Adi Keshava Perumal. So why am I telling you that now? It is because when Krishna decided to go back to heaven, he told this, he recited the entire thing to his best friend Uddhava. And then Uddhava, the true friend, the true bhakta that he was, burst out crying, lamenting, "Oh Krishna, what am I going to do without you? How will I manage without you? What am I going? Why can't you take me with you?" etc. So when Uddhava started lamenting like that, Krishna couldn't stand the crying of a true bhakta. And therefore he promises Uddhava saying, "Uddhava, do you remember in our family we used to worship an idol called the Adi Keshava Perumal? I will manifest myself in that. And after my departure, there will come this time called Pralayam, the great deluge. And you will find that this idol is floating on water. You have to take it with you and consecrate it somewhere. I promise you that I will be available on that idol, in that idol. I will never leave you because you are a true bhakta." So now Uddhava was comparatively appeased. And he thought, okay, I have Krishna, but although he's in an idol form, it's okay, I'll make do with this. So then, true to what Krishna had said, from a hunter's arrow, he gets shot on the toenail. And because of that, Krishna departs to heaven, and that is called Swargarohanam. And after Swargarohanam, incidentally, Dwapara Yuga was supposed to have come to an end and Kali Yuga starts. So Swargarohanam happens and the Pralayam also happens and there was this small Vigraham floating in water. Brahma was very busy with his construction creation duties. Well, construction also. So when Brahma was thus very busy, Uddhava collected this idol and he started searching for a beautiful place to establish that idol, consecrate it, build a temple perhaps and worship it till perhaps the end of his own life. He was searching high and low, east and west, north and south, he couldn't find the location. So suddenly it struck him. Vayu Bhagavan travels all over the world, right? He is air, he is wind, he travels all over the world. So why not entrust this job of finding a suitable place to him? So he approached Vayu Bhagavan and he said, "Vayu, you travel all over the world much more than me. I can search only in a selected, limited area. So please see if you can find a good spot for me." And thus that duty was transferred to Vayu Bhagavan. And Vayu Bhagavan, the very pious, devout person that he was, immediately understood, okay, Uddhava did not find a spot, I am not going to find a spot without a Sadguru. I have to have a Guru's blessings. So he ran to Deva Guru Brihaspati. He ran to Deva Guru Brihaspati, and then Brihaspati, who is kind of all-knowing, knew that this was going to happen, and he said, Vayu, I am coming with you. Let's go in search of a place together. So thus, Deva Guru Brihaspati and Vayu Deva or Pavana set forth together to find a perfect location. They were also searching high and low, east and west, north and south, everything. Initially they didn't find a spot. But then Parashurama comes from nowhere and he says, on the western side of the Western Ghats, I have created a little bit of land, a strip of land actually by throwing my axe into the ocean. Axe is Parashu. In Malayalam it's called Malu. So the Parashu and Malu, or one of them I mean, was thrown into the ocean, and the ocean receded. Varuna Bhagavan receded, and apparently that is how Kerala was created, on the western side of the Western Ghats. So Parashurama invites Devaguru Brihaspati and Vayu Bhagavan to come and have a look at his place. Come, I have created this place, come, please have a look. Maybe it is ideal for what you are looking for. And thus Devaguru Brihaspati and Vayu come to that place, and by the seashore there was a beautiful lake, and on the eastern side of that they thought was an ideal spot to put this Krishna Vigraha. I mean, Krishna, who has infused all his soul and all his blessings into that Keshava Perumal Vigraha. But the problem now, wherever they wanted to place that Vigraha, there was a Shiva temple in existence already. Shiva and Parvati were residing on the east side of that lake already. But when Shiva saw Parashurama, Devaguru and Vayu coming together, he immediately divined the reason, and then he said, please come here. I am going to move away from here. This is the apt spot for Krishna. Please place him here, consecrate him over here, build a temple over here. It is a most ideal spot. I am moving to the opposite banks. I am going to the western side. So that is exactly what happened. When Shiva was there, this big lake or pond, because it was Shiva Kshetra there, because it was a Shiva temple, that big lake or pond, it was called as a Rudra Tirtham. Shiva decided now to move along with Parvati to the western side, western banks, and on the eastern side, he actually instructed Vayu and Guru to put that Narayana Vigraham over there. Thus, Guru Brihaspati and Vayu together placed that Adi Keshava Perumal Vigraham on the eastern side of that lake, and because that idol was placed there, worshipped there and consecrated by Guru and Vayu, it became known as Guruvayoor. And Shiva went to the western bank, and that place is right now called Mammiyur. So it is believed, at least among the Kerala people, it is believed that if you worship at Guruvayoor, the worship is not complete unless you worship Mammiyur also. Because Shiva did a very kind gesture. So that Vigraham there, like I said, it is the family Vigraham from time of Ugrasena Maharaja from Mathura. Adi Keshava Perumal, who is none other than full Mahavishnu. But true to his promise to Uddhava and Devaki, he is as a very, very small Kudandai, small baby, Kishora. Not baby actually, but a little bigger than that, Kishora Vish. Like I said earlier, he is neither a Balaka nor a Kumara, but a Kishora over there. Thus was consecrated the Guruvayoor temple. And now it is Narayana's temple which is very famous over there. So that pond is now called the Narayana Saras. Earlier it was the Rudra Tirtham. But the thing what we want to notice is that the first day of the summer equinox, that is when Surya Bhagavan starts on his northward journey, the Uttarayanam. On that first day, if you get a chance, do visit this place, because it is a miracle even today, even with all these architectural constructions that have come up, that the first rays of the sun fall on the feet of Guruvayoorappan and Shiva together simultaneously, even now. So such is the Mahima of Guruvayoor temple. And let me repeat it once more. The idol, because it was consecrated by Guru, Brihaspati and Vayu together, it came to be called Guruvayoor. And it will not probably surprise some of you, it will surprise some of you when I say that Guruvayoor is one of the 10 topmost places of worship in the world by way of number of people thronging to that place and by way of donations collected at that place. Sometimes you gather the significance from this one sentence, but sometimes the significance is lost, you will understand the significance when I say that the other places on this list, on this people thronging list, in India it is Tirupati, Shabarimala, but on that list are places like the Vatican City, Mecca in Saudi Arabia and the Lourdes Church in France. So by way of numbers and by way of donations collected. And other good factor is there is no season. You can go all through the year, any time of the day. That's the best thing. So such is his Mahime. Guru Pavana Puradhisham is Lord Krishna. Pavana Guru Pavana Puradhisham Mahadevan is sitting residing at Guruvayoor temple now. What is he doing over there? He is doing Tribhuvananvesh. All the three worlds, he does anvesanam after all the three worlds. He takes care of all the three worlds. He inquires after all the three worlds. Tribhuvananvesh. So, because this is a story and a kriti, we are trying to connect it to Carnatic music also. What I would like to recall at this point is that Muthuswami Deshikar was a traveling bard as we know. He travelled all over India, composed compositions on every single deity you can think of in India, every big temple you can think of in India. Guruvayoor was no exception. Muthuswami Deshikar came there also. And when we listen to his lyrics, you will perfectly understand what I said. Full Mahavishnu attributes but small boy. I keep repeating that, right? Maybe it's difficult to picturize, but after you listen to this, no more doubts. Full Mahavishnu attributes but Kishora Vesha. Divya Kishora Vesha. Let's have a look at that also. Let's have a look. Shankha Thus was established a beautiful divine Vigraham at Guruvayoor. People thronged to that place, we talked about that. So now is the apt time to bring in and events associated with this place. Now, like I said, all these things which I'm going to recount happened in the very, very recent past actually, which actually makes us believe that there is divinity over there. It is just not a belief. He may be a belief, but not just a belief. It is not just an entity. He is not just an apparition over there. His presence is definitely there. So when I talk about those episodes which I want to emphasize that point, the first one that comes to mind is that of Merpattur Narayana Bhattadevi. He was actually a young person, maybe 26, 27, 28 years old, an erudite scholar at that. And scholar in those days means very well educated in grammar, Sanskrit, vibhakti, declension, all those things. Highly educated, very, very highly educated in Sanskrit grammar. But most unfortunately, at this very young age of 26, 27, 28, he was afflicted with rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatism. Doctors will advise me better. I don't know what is the difference between rheumatism and rheumatoid arthritis, but he was very severely affected. So much so that he lost control over his limbs. Many of them started getting crippled. He could not walk. So he was at a loss about his condition. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything for himself. He couldn't do anything for his family. He was very, very upset about the whole thing. He didn't know what to do. So at that time in Kerala, there used to be a very, very big, let me call him famous poet. He was called Eluthachi. So the mother and father said, maybe we'll go and talk to that person because he's very highly educated. Maybe he'll have some ideas, who knows. And the big point I forgot to mention was Merpattur Narayana Bhattadiripad. Bhattadiripad, if you have that surname, it automatically indicates that you are an orthodox Brahmin. So Merpattur belonged to a very orthodox Brahmin family, orthodox traditional Brahmin family. And thus, when he was affected, of course, with his family's help, he was taken to the Eluthachi's house. And when all the stories and everything was told to Eluthachi, he didn't react very wildly, he didn't react anything, he just said one sentence in Malayalam. He said, Matsyam Tottu Gootuga. Matsyam in Malayalam means fish. And the literal translation of the sentence is, start with the fish, start eating it. This was a very offensive statement to an orthodox Brahmin. So they came back. Oh, this man gave a very poor advice. No way. How can we do this? What? Matsyam Tottu Gootuga? What? Eat Matsyam? No way. How can I do this? I've been praying to God. I've been a very orthodox person following all the traditional requirements, praying every day. How can I eat fish? What is he going to tell me next? Eat chicken? Eat white meat? White meat? No, I cannot do this. And they brought him back. And then at home, he had nothing else to do, so he started contemplating on this. My God, such a knowledgeable person. Why did he give me such an advice? What? Start with the fish, and then what? Proceed where? Or go back to eggs? What now? I can't do this. Should I do that to cure rheumatism? Should I sacrifice all my so many years of practice that I have been undergoing? Why should I do this? He thought and thought about it, and then, given that he was also a scholar, one fine day it suddenly dawned on him. The advice was not to eat fish. Start from the fish, which means start from the Matsya, meaning start from Matsyavadara. Start writing about God. And Shuka Brahma Rishi and all had propounded this earlier in the form of Bhagavatam. And Merpattur was he knew what was Bhagavatam because he was a Sanskrit scholar. He was very much aware of that, he knew that. But here was an instruction to redo that all over again. Start from the fish. Come forward, Matsyam, Kurmam, Varaham, Narasimham, Vamanam, come through all those. And then when this idea struck him, he told his family members, take me to the temple. The house is not the best place. Put me in a place in the temple. I am going to sit and compose whatever I can over there. Not that I am a great composer, not that I am a great poet, but I am going to try to do what I can. So they carried him over there because of course they had no other option. So they carried him over there, and in one corner of the temple, remember the temple was not as grand as it was today. It was just a small temple. He sat in one corner of the temple and started composing slokas after slokas on Lord Guruvayoor. And as is normal with a human being, you find that first few slokas, first 10, 15, 16 of them are nothing but lamenting, whining to God, oh God, why did this happen to me? Why me? Why did it happen to anybody else? Did I do anything wrong? Can you at least tell me what I did wrong? And that kind of slokas. But after that, slowly as maturity crept into him, he started describing Malsyavataram, Kurmavataram, Varahavatam, Narasimhavataram, Vamanavataram, and so forth and so on. He was a very prolific composer. He composed this in pure Sanskrit, very pure Sanskrit, not in Malayalam maybe. Malayalam was a vernacular language at that time, but he did not compose in Malayalam, he composed in Sanskrit. He was a prolific composer and composed about 10 slokams per day. A set of 10 slokams is actually called a dashakam. And when you have 10 such dashakams, they form a skandam. And this man, the prolific nature of his composition, he composed 100 dashakams, or actually which fit into 10 skandams. And at the end of the composition, he took 100 days to complete this composition. On the 101st day, God was so pleased with him, that he appeared to Mepattur Narayana Bhattagiri in his full Guruvayoor form. And this composition is what we know now as the Narayani. It is nothing but a condensed version of the Bhagavatam. It takes you through all the Dashavatārams. And the 100th Dashakam, the last one, is called the Keshadipada Varnana. Kesham is head, Padam is leg. So from head to toe description of the God you find in the 100th Dashakam. And when he was cured of his ailment by composing on God, singing about God, he sang, I saw Guruvayoorappan, Agre Pashyami, I saw him in his Divya Kaishwara Vesha. I see him actually, not saw. I see him in front of me. Agre Pashyami Tejo Nibhidadarakanaya Valilo Bhaniyam Piyusha started all this with total rheumatoid arthritis, crippled limbs. He could not even write, he could not even walk. And remember, if I told you the first 3 slokams, or first 15 of them actually are whining. Sandranandavabodhatmakam. But the good thing, why I recited that line is, I said he was whining to God, why me, why should this disease afflict me, and all those things. But still, the scholar that he was, he had the good sense to write in the first slokam that Guru Pavana Puradhisha, it is mankind's blessings that you are present here. So I could come to your temple and I could at least make this effort to cure myself. Right? So the first paragraph alone talks about Guru Pavana Puradhisha Mahima. Sandranandavabodhatmakam anupamitam kaladeshavadhibhyam दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरु पुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुभवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानां. Yes, certainly it is our blessing. Hanta bhagyam jananam, all the people's blessing that Guruvayoor is present at that place called Guruvayoor. We can all go worship over there. And if you do that, not only are you going to feel the divinity and feel the divine presence, all the divine blessings, but any problem of yours will be solved, including rheumatoid arthritis. Right? Even so, this one also he did not forget to mention in his magnum opus composition Narayani. The last paragraph says Yogindranam Tvadangeshu Swadhim Ativasu Maduram, and the last line says Ayurarogya Saukyam. If you recite the Narayani, if you listen to the Narayani, you will be blessed with Ayu, Arogyam and Saukyam. So it is a practice even now that if there is a problem, even if you don't have a problem, if you have Narayaniyam recitation or listening sessions in your home, you can be cured of anything, any problem, physical, disease, other problem, mental, stress. So I would say it is apt for today's living conditions, stressful life. No time for anything, no time for worship also, no time to even say hi Guruvayoor. So the last sloka. So these three are the, possibly they can be called the essence of the Narayaniyam. Just like if you don't have time to say the Vishnu Sahasranam, just say Ramanama, right? Just like that. You don't have time to read the Bhagavatam, of course. So you read the Narayaniyam. Well, you don't have time for Narayaniyam also, read the three slokas. The last one says Ayurarogya Saukyam. You will definitely get that. Yogindranam Twadangeshwadhikasu Madhuram Mukti Bhajam Nivaso Bhaktanam Kamavarshadhyudaruki Salayam Nadhate Padamulam. I wrote all these things. I am dedicating it at your Padam, submitting it at your Padam, Padamulam. And thus, please cure me of all my ailments, or I stand cured before you. Let this blessing be there on everyone that comes to your temple or tries to recite this. Nityam chittasthitham me pavana gurapate Krishna karunya sindho kritva nisheshatavan pratishatu paramananda sandoha lakshmi. And he doesn't stop there. If I have made a mistake in composing anything, if I have done anything wrong to you, if I have made a mistake in writing about you, if there is a factual error, please forgive me for that. After forgiving me, you grant me Ayurarogya Saukyam, and for anybody who listens to you or comes to your temple. Ajñātvāte mahatvam yadiha nigaditam vishwanatha kshametha stotram chaitat sahasrottaram adhikataram tvatprasadaya bhuya dveda narayaniyam shrutishu cha janusha stutyata varnanena spitam leelavatarai purutam ayurarogya saukyam. Thus he wrote the Narayaniyam, got cured of all the ailments, was blessed by Guruvayoor, and in fact he assures us that Guruvayoor is present over there even now to bless us also and to grant us Ayurarogya Saukyam. So that is the story of Melpattur Narayana Bhattadari, who composed this magnum opus composition in Sanskrit called the Narayani. But then what happens? Remember I told you he was a young man when he did all these things. And he got cured, he became very famous, and then what should not happen happened. A little bit of ego, a little bit of pride started ruling his head, sitting on his head, there is nobody like me. When that feeling starts ruling somebody, again it is Guruvayoorappan's greatness that he finds a method for you to get out of that also. All you have to do is call me. So, that brings me to another story called the story of Poontanam. Poontanam was also a very, very devout, very, very pious Brahmin. So, Guruvayoorappan needed to bless Poontanam, at the same time get rid of Mepathu's ego also. So, let's talk about Poontanam now, and when you listen to Poontanam, I will try to connect the story back to Mepathu. Poontanam, like I said, was a very, very devout Brahmin. Very devout Brahmin. There are so many stories to tell you about how devoted he was, how Guruvayoorappan was available on Poontanam's beck and call. But I am telling you only very few of them, because if I tell that, that also requires a month. So Poontanam, the devout bhakta that he was staying in a place called Angadipuram, quite a lot of miles away from Guruvayoor temple. But at that time, remember, we did not have these speed cars and all those things. And he could not afford bullock carts. So he had to walk from a long distance. And at Guruvayoor temple, the practice even today is that the first darshan of the Lord, it's called the Nirmalya Darshanam, happens at 2:30 in the morning, 2:30 a.m. in the morning. And what is Nirmalya Darshanam? Nirmalya Darshanam is the darshanam of the Lord. The first darshanam of the Lord when the sanctum sanctorum door opens, but the Lord is in yesterday's clothing and yesterday's decorations, yesterday's alankar. So Poontanam wanted to be at Guruvayoor temple for this Nirmalya Darshanam always, every day, although he was staying very, very far away. So the practice or the routine he had made for himself was that he would finish his dinner, rest for a little while, start walking. So by 2:30 a.m. he will be at the Guruvayoor temple. He will finish his darshan, come back, and then spend the day, and then finish his dinner, start walking again, so that he will be there at 2:30 in the temple. So this course of his journey took him through dense forests, of course. Like I said, there were no cars, there were no pakka roads, dense forest. And the forest was, as usual, infested with robbers, dacoits, all of them. One fine day, needless to say, Poontanam was also accosted by a group, a gang of robbers. At that time, those Guruvayoor and the Trichur and all those areas in Kerala was ruled by a king called Zamorin. And his soldiers, or the Senapati, was called Manga Touch. So when this episode of Poontanam being accosted by the robbers happened, Poontanam actually did not have anything to offer to the robbers. He was not a rich person actually. He had just a small ring, and that too it was a mark of his wedding to his wife. That's all what he had. He did not even have a purse of coins, or he didn't have anything else like that. In spite of that, the robbers descended on him and demanded that he give up whatever he had. And Poontanam was about to remove his ring and offer it. I have only this, other than my life, you can take this, you can take me also if you want. And he was about to remove his ring. All the while he kept praying to Krishna, 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 they want my ring, I am going to give it. At that time, this Manga Touch and this Senapati, as you call him, came over there with his soldiers, of course defeated the robbers and sent them away. And Poontanam by now had taken out the ring and he said, I was anyway going to offer it to the robbers, right? Now you have saved me also, you take this ring, please. Take it and go. I have nothing else to give you, so please take this and please go. And Manga Touch kept refusing. He said, I don't want, please, I don't want, why should I? And the Senapati of the land, it's my duty to protect the people, right? It's my duty to protect the citizens, so I'm not taking it. But Poontanam insisted and insisted, and finally he took the ring and he went away. Him and his soldiers, all of them went away. And Poontanam continued. They went away that way. Poontanam continued on his journey towards Guruvayoor, and he reached Guruvayoor for Nirmalya Darshanam and all that. But the strange thing happens now. The priest in Kerala, the head priest is called the Male Shanti. Male Shanti opens the door, Sanctum Sanctorum, Sri Govil door, and then comes out running, saying, I found a ring on the god's hands. Yesterday I had a dream saying, I will find this ring. Poontanam will come, hand over this ring to me. So the priest came running with the ring and he handed over the ring to Poondanam saying, "This is what God told me in my dream." And Poondanam looked at the ring. Lo and behold, it's his own ring. What he gave to Mahadevan yesterday. And then everybody standing over there, including Poondanam, realizes. Poondanam called Krishna. Krishna came. As Mahadevan this time. Maybe some other form, some other time. But right now he came as a soldier. Saved Poondanam from the robbers. And then Poondanam realized, Guru is also you. Janani is also you. Tadan, father is also you. Santhi, friend is also you. Everything is you, oh Guruvayoor. Yes, everything is Guruvayoor. Guruvum niye, Sakhiyum niye, Jananiyum Tadanum niye. Guruvayoorappa, Guruvayoorappa, Guruvum niye, Sakhiyum niye, Jananiyum Tadanum niye. Guruvayoorappa, So this was the devout nature of Poondanam. But being such a devout person, very, very, very courteous person, pious person, in spite of that, he had a big problem in his life. A small problem, as we call it now in the story, but a big problem in his life. It was that after many years of marriage, he did not have any child. He did not have any children. And therefore, he kept praying to, sorry, my legs are a bit shaky. So, he kept praying, he kept praying, he kept praying and praying to Guruvayoorappa. And then Guruvayoorappa blessed him with a small baby boy. And as is the practice in Kerala those days, the baby boy was called Uni. And Uni became 6 months old, and Guruvayoorappa wanted to do the, Poondanam wanted to do the Annaprashan. Annaprashanam is the small festival where you give first time rice or solid foods to a baby. So he wanted to conduct this on a grand scale. So he called so many of his friends and everybody had assembled there. On the day of the Annaprashanam, the child was given a holy bath and all those things, very well decorated, perfume, nice dress, everything, and then it was placed in a mattress on the side of the room and all the ladies started going to take their bath one by one. So the first lady, she went into the bathroom and then realized that she had not taken a change of clothes. So what happened? She took out the soiled clothes and just threw it outside the bathroom door like that. As fate would have it, those soiled clothes fell on this Uni, who already had his bath and all those things. The next lady went in, she saw the soiled clothes, she thought that that was a place for the soiled clothes. So she also threw it over there. The third lady threw it over there. Fourth, fifth, sixth, so it became a heap of soiled clothes, wet clothes. What happened? An infant is under there, it's suffocated to death. I'm so sorry, but that's what happened. Okay. Then, of course, everybody in the family, including Poondanam, was aghast. My God. And then he started lamenting to Lord Guruvayoorappa. What is this, Guruvayoorappa? I did not have any children, right? I did not have any children in the first place. I kept praying to you. Why did you give me a child if you want to take it away like this? The other grief was better than this one, or at least lesser than this one. Why take it away? Now it is not only me who is grieving or my wife who is grieving. Every relative is grieving now. Why do you want to do this, Guruvayoorappa? Why do you want to do this to me? And then he was not consolable. He started walking. He walked all the way to Guruvayoor temple and started lamenting over there also. Guruvayoorappa, why? So he fell into a swoon because of his desperate situation. And when he woke up, he started praying again. Krishna, 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 Krishna. And then inside the temple, he saw a light. And what should he see? He saw Guruvayoorappan with his own Uni on Guruvayoorappan's lap. And then suddenly the scene changes. The Guruvayoorappan is sitting on Poondanam's lap. And suddenly the scene changes again, saying, Poondanam's Unni is sitting on Krishna's lap. Or Krishna is sitting on Poondanam's lap. And that scene keeps repeating in his mind, or he saw it in the Sanctum Sanctum. Because of that, he decides, or he understands that he had committed a grave mistake of thinking of that child as mine. There is no mine anywhere. He made the mistake of saying mine. Terrible mistake. Guruvayoor wanted to teach him. And then he understood, why can't everybody see Guruvayoor in every child? Or why can't every child be considered as Guruvayoor or Devi? Why not? And he composed a big poem. After this realization, when he was thinking about it, contemplating about it, he got so many ideas, so many philosophies which actually dawned on him. Like, for example, if you are a very rich king today on a high pedestal, Bhagavan did that to you. He made you a king and he made you stand on a high pedestal. The very same king, the very next day, could become a beggar, we don't know. But that is also done by Bhagavan. The beggar can be made a king, the king can be made a beggar. Everything is God's doing. So that was another philosophy. So many philosophies like this, it just dawned on him. And he compiled all of that and came up with a composition, a poetry. It's actually a poem in Malayalam, and this is called the Jnana Pana. Jnanam is knowledge, as we all know. Pana in Malayalam means a pot, a big pot. So this Jnana Pana is a pot of knowledge, in which he says, Unni Krishnan manasil kalikkumbol, unnigal mattu venamo makkalai. When Unni Krishnan is playing in your heart as your own son, do you want any more children? Why can't you see every child as your own? And such things. And from this Jnanapana is used even today in Guruvayoor temple, not only in Guruvayoor temple, but in every bhajan place. And it is, when I start singing, all of you will recognize that, I'm very sure, although it is in pure Malayalam. Krishna Krishna Mukunda Janardana, Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare, Krishna Krishna Mukunda Janardana, Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare, Achyutananda Govinda Madhava, Sachidananda Narayana Hare, Achyutananda Govinda Madhava, Sachidananda Narayana Hare, Innale Olam Kendalla Nilla, Innaleyum Endenna Inni Kanda Tadikku Vinasham, Enna Neram Ennennadum Varilla, Kandu Kandam Neerikkum Jarangalе, Kandillannu Varukkunnadum Bhavan, Rendu Naalu Dinam Kondoruttane, Tannileti Nadattunnadum Bhavan, Madida Mokadeliya Mannate, Koval Maarapu Chalunnadum Bhavan, Krishna Krishna Mukunda Janardana, Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare, Sachidananda Narayana Hare, Sachidananda Narayana Hare, Sachidananda Narayana Hare, Sachidananda Narayana Hare. So Poondanam realization dawned on him, and thus he composed this one. And now he was in a very doubtful situation. Did I do the right thing? I am no scholar, I am not a very educated person. Why did I go ahead and compose this? My good God, what did I do? Have I done the right thing, or have I made umpteen mistakes worthy of no reading at all? So to solve that problem, or to clear that doubt in his mind, what he does is, he runs to Mepatur. Remember Mepatur, the Sanskrit scholar? The one who wrote Narayaniyam? The great person? So he runs to Mepatur with this composition. And he said, Sir, I know you're a great scholar, but I don't know Sanskrit. But I have written something in that, just jotted down something in vernacular language, Malayalam. Please go through that. Please tell me if it is terribly hopeless, I'll burn it. If it is terribly, terribly bad, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. If it is a little bit good, I will read it every day. That's all. So Mayapathu, the hearty person that he had become. Remember, ego was riding on his head and all those things. He said, what? Malayalam? No way. The language of gods is Sanskrit. If you write in Sanskrit, if you speak in Sanskrit, then God will listen to you. Why do you make such meager offerings to Guruvayoor? What? Malayalam? No way. Get lost. Don't come to me. I can't even read that composition, it is that derogatory. Just because it's not in Sanskrit. So Potanam was aghast at listening to this. My God, what a grave sin have I committed. I should not even have started on this venture if I didn't know Sanskrit. I should never have done this. I should never have done this. And he started cursing himself for not learning Sanskrit. And he went from there. He went to Guruvayoor temple, his refuge for everything, right? No other go for him, no other marga for him. So he went there, started reciting the Vishnu Sahasranamam. At least that little Sanskrit he had memorized from somewhere. Maybe listening to Mayapathu reciting itself. So he was reciting Vishnu Vachatkaro, Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu, started reciting that as he had heard and as he had known. At that time, Mayapathu came into the temple also. And it so happened that Putana was at the line where the Sahasranamam says, Padmanabho Maraprabhu. So the line after that, Putana could not recollect. So he kept repeating, Padmanabho Maraprabhu, Padmanabho Maraprabhu, Padmanabho Maraprabhu. And by this time, Mayapathu walked into the temple, and when he heard this, he started laughing hysterically. Oh my God, Putana was reciting Sanskrit, what a joke. And look at him say, he's saying Padmanabho Maraprabhu. Maram in Sanskrit, Malayalam means tree. So Padmanabha is a lot of trees. Look at Putana. Mayapathu had the time of his life laughing away at the ignorance of Putana. Only because of his ego. If he was a true scholar, he would have advised Putana about the correctness, right? If at all it was wrong. If at all Padmanabho Maraprabhu was wrong, he should have called Putana aside, advised him or talked to him nicely, explained. Instead of that, he had the time of his life laughing at Putana's ignorance. And then Putana was even more, oh my God, I should not even say Vishnu Sahasranamam because I don't know anything. It is terrible. I'll just say Krishna, at least I hope I'm telling that correctly. I'll just say Krishna Narayana, that's enough for me. With that decision, he was about to walk away. And then he decided, well, no point going away without knowing, right? I should know what I did wrong so that I won't do it again. So he went and fell at Mayapathu's feet and asked, what did I do wrong? Please can you advise me at least about that line? Please. And then Mayapathu, who had calmed down a little from his hysterical laughing and all that, and he said, Padmanabha itself means one who has lotus arising from his navi. Padmanabha. He is the Lord of the immortals, or he is the immortal one. He is Padmanabho Amara Prabhu. That is the mistake you were doing. Instead of the Lord of immortals, you were saying Lord of trees. Instead of Amara Prabhu, you were saying Mara Prabhu. How can that be right? Putana realized his folly and he started walking. Okay, my God, even Vishnu Sahasranamam was not for me. Krishna Narayana is enough for me, I am going. I won't even try to say Vishnu Vashatkaro hereafter. Because I am no good at it. As he was walking away, again that corporeal voice came from the heavens saying, I am Mara Prabhu, I am the Lord of the trees. And then Mayapathu realizes his mistake. Mistake in the sense not about that Sanskrit correction he had made, but the biggest mistake of ego, pride in his head. I should have told Putana. I should not have laughed at him. And then they started reciting together Padmanabho Maraprabhu and Padmanabho Amaraprabhu and Padmanabho Sarvaprabhu. He is Lord of the trees, he is Lord of the immortals, he is Lord of everything also. So that way we see through this Putana's ignorance, God made Melpathur realized that he was a little bit egoistic. Hello, come down. Step down from your high pedestal. In one day. Yesterday he was very famous because of his Narayaniam. Today, come down. Please. So that was how God brought about the destruction of Melpathur's ego through Poondanam. But unfortunately, this ego is a multi-headed serpent. You chop off one, there is another one, chop off that, there is another one. Right? So after this episode also, ego wouldn't completely leave Melpathur. So what happened? He decided to, Poondanam went away after this episode, and what happens was, he stood corrected, right? He doesn't know Sanskrit, that is true. Although Guruvayoor declared that he is Maraprabhu, Amaraprabhu, everything, he thought that the composition that he had written, the Jnanapana, it is a useless thing. I am not even going to ask Melpathur to reread it. God knows how many mistakes. If Melpathur can make such mistakes in the eyes of Guruvayoor, what am I going to do? I am not going to submit it. Let me throw it into the fire, let me tear it away, let me put it into the litter bin. So many ideas came to him. And finally, the idea that struck with him was, well, whatever it is, I try to write about God, right? Not about anything else. So I'll just go and leave it at the temple. Okay, let Guruvayoor decide what he wants to do with it. Let him decide. So, in Kerala temples, you have the Sanctum Sanctorum, which is called the Sri Koval, and coming out from the Sri Koval, you have a set of steps, 3 or 4 steps, and those are called the Sopanapadi. So, Poondanam went, left his Jnanapana on the steps and went home. Guruvayoor, you do whatever you want with this composition. I mean, I wrote about you, so I don't feel like throwing it into the litter bin. I wrote about you, so I don't want to burn it. You do whatever you want. So he left it on the steps and came back. And in that time, Melpathur, who had not gotten rid of his ego completely, also came there, and he wanted to submit his book Narayaniam for the review by Guruvayoor. Poondanam, the poor guy that he wanted, the poor guy that he was, wanted Melpathur to review the Jnanapana. Melpathur, the big guy that he was, wanted Guruvayoor to review his book. So he came and he wanted to leave the Narayaniam on the Sopanapadi, and he saw the Jnanapana there. Oh my God. How can this stupid thing be on the steps? He pushed it to the back of his hand. And the Jnanapana went flying. He kept left Narayaniam book on the Sopanapadi and went home. Assuming that Guruvayoor will give darshan again, and if at all there are any mistakes, there will not be any mistakes, sure. But if at all there is, Guruvayoor will instruct me and all. So he comes back the next day, awaiting Guruvayoor's instructions. When he comes back, Jnanapana is on the first step, Narayana is on the 4th step. So he gets even more livid with rage, thinking Poondanam did this. He thought that Poondanam had placed the Jnanapana on the first step, pushing his Narayana to 4. So he again pushes the Jnanapana with the back of his hand, places the Narayana and decides to wait for one more day. He leaves it like that. Next time he comes, the next day he comes, he is very happy. He is very happy to find his Narayaniam on the first step. And Jnanapana is not seen anywhere. Very happy. He thought, aha, Guruvayoor also decided, my composition is great. Poondanam's composition is useless. It's nowhere to be seen here. Not on the steps, not anywhere else, not in the lobby, not in the atrium, anywhere of the temple. He's very happy, ego riding on top here. Sanctum Sanctorum door opens. Jnanapana is inside the Sanctum Sanctorum at Guruvayoor's feet. What? My book is here outside and the Malayalam book is inside, Jnanapana book is inside. How can this happen? My God. And then he starts praying. How can this happen, Guruvayoor? Why did this happen? And then again that corporeal voice, that divine voice is heard saying, Poondanam's bhakti is higher than your vibhakti. Vibhakti literally translates as grammar or declension, things like that. So you were so worried about the language. You were so worried about you getting fame out of that book. That's about it, right? Poondanam did not have anything like that in his mind. He just composed and composed. He wanted to sing about me. So his bhakti is greater than your vibhakti. That is why the Jnanapana is inside and Narayana is outside. And now I think Merpattur had all the serpent heads cut off by now. His ego really took a big downfall, which was very good, and he realized everything was God's doing. Nothing is done by us. God makes us do everything. And then he sits down in his house every day reciting to God and asking him to correct. And apparently God did make some corrections. And one of the incident associated with this correction is in the Ramavatara, when Hanuman returns with the Chudamani, Sita Devi's Chudamani. He was writing that Hanuman brought back the Chudamani and gave it to Rama. So in Malayalam, when he was starting to compose that, what happened was Chudamani, if he writes the word Rama there, it would not fit the meter. It would not fit into the talam. So he was at a loss of what to do. And he prayed again. Now that all his ego, everything has been destroyed, he prayed and prayed and prayed. And then Guruvayoor apparently came and said, I received the Chudamani. So lo and behold, he had got this answer. He took off that word Rama from his sentence and he put a simple Malayalam word saying, Te, you received the Chudamani. Done. Story taken care of, talam taken care of, everything taken care of. So that is one little episode where, one belief where Guruvayoor came, corrected all the Narayaniam, and Merpattur's ego was destroyed, everything, and that is why Narayaniam rules even now. It is height of Sanskrit composition, comparable in terms of literature to Kalidasa's Abhigyana Shakuntalam or Vikram or Rishiyam or Vegasanthi. Because it was composed by Merpattur, yes, but it had that divine intervention also, corrections also, everything. So that way, we were talking about Purtalam, how his bhakti was superior to Merpattur's vibhakti, and how Purtalam was utilized by God to kill Merpattur's ego. And thus, because of God's leelas and God's doings, we have two very blessed souls living in that way. Now, a contemporary of these two people was Guruvayoor Swami. Why I choose to tell the story is because most of us, any of us, if at all we are anything in this world, we forget that it is God's doing. And this thing called ego definitely sits on our head. We have to get rid of it. That is what we are trying. Always. That is what we should be trying, right? Guruvayoor Swamiyar was another orthodox high caste Brahmin who was so blessed that he could have a vision of Krishna at his will and pleasure. When he was doing puja, Krishna used to appear in his pujas most of the time. Play with him, disturb him, do all the naughty things, eat the Nevedyam before Swamiyar could offer to the real idol, everything. So Swamiyar, the usual person that he is, he was very patient with that, assuming that Krishna was doing it and all those things. So one day, Swamiyar, although ego was not his primary problem was temper, krodha. Okay. So Swami had to get rid of that also. Right? Krishna Swami had to get rid of that also. Because you have to get rid of, apparently you have to get rid of all the, you should be vimukta from all the cardinal sins in order to even dream of moksha. So Guruvayoor Swamiyar, who was so blessed, was having only the problem of this krodham or anger. And so Guruvayoor had to get rid of that also. So one day, instead of appearing as Guruvayoor to the Lord, Guruvayoor Swamiyar was used to this Guruvayoor presence. So instead of appearing as Guruvayoor, Krishna decided to appear as a small boy, just as a small boy. And just as Krishna had anticipated, Swamiyar failed to recognize this boy. And he said, "What are you doing all nonsense over here? Get out. Get out of my puja room, please." And Krishna, remember, he did all this in order to teach Swamiyar something, right? So after Swamiyar had scolded him and said, "Get out," he came back in Guruvayoor form and he said, "Swami, you didn't recognize me? I am your Krishna who came. But you asked me to get out, so I'm getting out. Now, if you want to see me again, you have to come to Anantam Garden. And this Vilvamangalam Swamiyar was, of course, at a loss. He didn't know what to do. He did not even know where this Anantam Garden was. Where do I go and search now? Oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? What sin have I committed? Again, it was ego combined with anger and all that. His little bit of ego also, in the sense that he could call Guruvayoor whenever he wants. He could see Guruvayoor whenever he wants. He could make Guruvayoor appear whenever he wants. That one also, plus this anger, immediate anger. Just because a little boy did some naughty things, pushed outside and could get out. So the boy said, if you want to see me, come to Anantam. So then Vilvamangalam Swamiyar decided to drop all his pujas and he said, my Krishna, my next task is finding you. Without finding you at wherever you said, Anantam Garden or whatever, I'm not coming. I'm not doing any more puja in this place. Because I know that you're not here. Why should I do the puja, right? In my ignorance, in my stupidity, I asked you to get out. So, Vilvamangalam Swamiyar set out on a journey in search of Krishna. So he walked and walked and walked and walked, and finally he came to a place called Anantam Garden. People used to call it Anantam Garden. Actually, Swamiyar did not know that it was Anantam Garden, but he believed that because people called Anantam Garden. And he searched in that card also. He could not find Krishna. But in the course of his searching, he found a Mahavishnu Vigraham which was in a reclining posture on Ananta. So full Mahavishnu, again all attributes with the lotus coming out of his stomach, from the tummy button and all those things. He found that Vigraha and he decided, I must consecrate this Vigraham also. Anyway, it is God's Vigraham. Let me pray. What if it is not my Krishna? Let me just put this in one place, build at least a temple. Instead of the idol being abandoned in one place in a forest, I can at least make a daily puja or prayer ritual for that. So he consecrated that idol. And when he was praying, he called that Swami Ananta Padmanabha, because he found it in Anantam Garden one day. Swami was reclining on Ananta the snake, another reason. And then he had this Padmam coming out of the Navi. So Padmanabha. So Vilvamangalam Swamiyar called that new idol Ananta Padmanabha. And as he stood praying to that idol, he saw his own Krishna dancing inside this idol. So he realized, my good God, Sridharan is the same as Mahadevan, Mahadevan is the same as Padmanabha, Padmanabha is the same as Vishnu, Vishnu is the same as Sridharan, everything. So that is how he consecrated the temple over there, and it came to be known as Anantapuram first, and then a divine was added to it, Thiru Anantapuram. So that is how the Ananta Padmanabha Swami temple came to be consecrated in modern day Trivandrum, as we call it. Trivandrum was actually Thiru Anantapuram. And why did we talk about Vilvamangalam Swamiyar now? Because we wanted to explain the fact that not only we should not have ego or something, we should not have temper problems also. If we control these two, we should not have any of the other things like lusting or greed or anything like that. So each story has something to teach us actually. So Vilvamangalam Swamiyar consecrated this Ananta Padmanabha temple in Thiruvananthapuram, and it is nothing but Krishna. It's nobody but Krishna over there. And then he sang. Ditijali Vitalana, Ditijali Vitalana, Deenabandho Mama, Ditijali Vitalana, Deenabandho Mama, Ditijali Vitalana, Shri We saw Melpattur Narayana Bhattadiri, Potanam, Vilvamangalam Swamiyar, and I kept saying Bhattadiri, Orthodox Brahmin, Vilvamangalam Swamiyar, etc. So God, is he partial to all Swamiyars only? No way. No way. So next, I want to talk about Prince Mahadevan. Remember in some other context I told you that those regions were ruled by a king called the Zamorins of Calicut. The prince, his name was Mahadevan, and he was a very, very big devotee of Krishna. He was stationed at Trichure at that point of time, and he used to walk to Guruvayoor temple every day. And he was a great, great, great Shishya, great, great, great Bhakta of Vilvamangalam Swamiyar also. Vilvamangalam Swamiyar was his Guru, and Mahadevan was a Shishya. So his course of his walk through to Guruvayoor temple always took him through what is called as a teakin garden. Tek in Malayalam refers to teak wood. Kadu refers to forest. So he used to walk to Guruvayoor temple through a forest of teak wood. And it was full of teak trees over there, but there was just one tree which was called the eleni. It is just, I don't know the English translation, but it is just another type of tree, not a teak tree. So he used to walk through this, and he will always wonder, why is there one different tree in a grove of other trees? He used to wonder. He will go pray at Guruvayoor, come back, pray, come back, pray, come back. This went on for a long time. But unfortunately, he could not have a darshan of Guruvayoor, real darshan. So he was very, very sad, and one day he went complaining to his Guru, saying, Guru, I've been praying, I've been walking, I've been trying to please Guruvayoor, why can't I have a darshan? Please, why am I not getting a darshan of Guruvayoor? Why am I not even seeing a naughty little God? I don't want to see full God if he doesn't want to show me his Vishwarupa. Fine, let me just see the small God. Naughty boys can appear anywhere, so why can't I see him? So Vilvamangalam Swamiyar realized his Shishya's intense bhakti, and he said, tomorrow I'll take you. You come with me, I'll walk with you. So Vilvamangalam Swamiyar and Mahadevan started walking together. And when they came to that teakin garden, Vilvamangalam Swamiyar said, hold my hands and walk from now on. Mahadevan held on like a dutiful student. He held on and started walking. And under that eleni tree, not under any of the teak trees, but under that eleni tree, who should he see but little Krishna dancing over there, playing his flute, anklets around his ankles, waistband, kingini around his waist. All those things. Mahadevan was so happy. He fell at his Guru's feet first, and then prostrated in front of that eleni tree. And then when he came back after having this darshan and all that, he decided, Krishna performed so many leelas. These should be available for everybody to understand, even those who don't know high profile languages like Sanskrit. So he wrote a set of dance drama sequences, and those dance drama sequences are today famous as the Krishna Natam. And Krishna Natam is nothing but different episodes of Krishna Leela. But the belief is that because he described it in such a beautiful format, each of the episodes can be made as an offering to Lord Guruvayoor now. You can sponsor each episode being performed as Krishna Natam. And the belief is that you will get a fruition according to which episode you sponsor. In the sense, what I mean is, suppose you sponsor the episode where Sri Krishna is being born, you will be blessed with children. Suppose you sponsor Rukmini Swayamvaram and you have a girl, beautiful little girl in your house, she'll get a beautiful alliance and a wonderful bridegroom. If you sponsor Kamsavatham, all your enemies, not just physical, I'm not talking about physical people enemies, stress, anger, any other lust, greed, ego, all that can be destroyed. And usually if anybody passes away in your family, after that you sponsor this Vajrarohan, so that the departed soul reaches. So those dance drama episodes were written by Prince Mahadevan. And these dance drama, Krishna Natam, it is very similar to Kathakali. Most of you are more familiar with the word Kathakali, right? Or the dance drama form called Kathakali. It's very, very similar. The makeup is also very similar. So, what does all this prove? All this proves that you need not locate a Krishna's temple or a Perumal temple and go there. If you have true bhakti in your mind, Krishna will come to you. And he'll come in any which form. All you have to do is call. Krishna, Guruvayoor is a God who is available on call. Any time of the day, 24/7, not only for a few weeks, but throughout your lifetime. He's available on call. All you have to do is call Krishna with bhakti in your hand. And it's not only the Malayalam poets or the Tamil poets who did this. Purandaradasa did exactly that. Krishna Krishna All of you recognize that name. And he is the one who wrote Krishna Ashtakam, Bala Mukunda Ashtakam, so many things like that. So one day, he was also flying from Kerala to Sringeri actually. He had that flying siddhi at that time. Please don't ask me how. But he had that flying siddhi. He was apparently flying from Kerala, Kaladi in Kerala, to Sringeri, where he had established his mutt. Guruvayoor temple was on the way. And in his speed or in his avasaram, he forgot that Guruvayoor temple is over there. Not only Guruvayoor, he forgot that there are temples over there. He forgot to prostrate to God, prostrate before God. So again, that was also a little bit a part of ego actually, right? I mean, it's not that Guruvayoor wanted Shankaracharya to worship him. It is just that complaining about not having time. I'm very busy flying from Kaladi to Sringeri, so I can't stop by to see you, Krishna. That's a very stupid thing to say. So you don't have time for worship, you don't have time for puja, you don't have time to say Narayana. That is a very stupid thing to say. Bhagavan wanted to show this to all his devotees. So Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya was flying from Kaladi to Sringeri, and when he reached on top of Guruvayoor temple, the place lost his flying capacity, fell straight down. Then he started to get up from there. He could not get up. He started trying to fly. He could not fly. What happened? And then he realized something must be pulling me down. He opened his eyes and lo and behold, what does he see? He sees Guruvayoor in front of him. And then he realizes, oh my God, I should have taken time out to pray to at least one time Narayana in a day. At least one time Krishna Krishna in a day. I should have done that. Thank you for making me realize my folly. I will never again say that I don't have time to say Krishna. निर्निगदित गोविन्द स्फुटनामानं बहुनामानं गोपी गोचर दूरं प्रणमत गोविन्दं परमानन्दम् वृन्दावन भुवि वृन्दारक गण वृन्दाराध्यं वन्देऽहं कुन्दाभामल मन्दस्मेर सुधानन्दं सुहृदानन्दम् वन्द्याशेष महामुनिमानस वन्द्यानन्दपदद्वन्द्वम् वन्द्याशेष गुणाब्धिं प्रणमत गोविन्दं परमानन्दम्. So this is just 3 paragraphs which I recited. Actually he goes on to compose 8 stanzas, and that is why it's called Ashtakam. Shankaracharya composes Govinda Ashtakam on the spot in praise of Lord Govinda of Guruvayoor. Okay, so now we talked about Mepattur, about Poontanam, about Vilvamangalam Swamiyar, about Mahadevan, and about Shankaracharya. All these people were males. Correct? Now, does that mean Guruvayoor shows his benevolence only to males? Yes or no? What do you think? No way, no way. He shows his. Murli says it's all ladies' voice saying no. Okay. So actually no way. Guruvayoor is very benevolent to everybody, and to illustrate this point I want to tell you the story of Kururama. Kururama was a young girl who was initially called Dhartri, but she married into a family called Kurur. She went to Kurur Illam, became the senior most daughter-in-law over there, and therefore she is called Kururama. She was called, I mean, she's history now, sorry, but she was called Kururama, and she was a childless widow. And when her family, all of them passed away one by one, there came a stage in her life when she was very old, but she did not have any support. Because she was childless, no son. She was a widow, so no husband. She was already married into some other family. She did not probably have connection with her birth families, I don't know. But she did not have anybody. But she lived with the help of a Sri Krishna idol, a small Bala Krishna idol, which was in her home. And that is the idol, I mean, I'll tell you the story, but that is the idol that is available in Guruvayoor, all shops when you go now. That blue colored Vigraham standing with a flute like that with a little Mailpili. So that is a kind of Vigraham, that is a kind of idol Kururama had in her house, and she used to worship that child. So on her way to the temple and back one day, she met a small child, and the child was very, very, very hungry. Did not have anything to eat over the last few days. So Kururama took pity on the child, took him home, fed him a sumptuous meal, and then started talking to him because he was a very small child, Unni. So the small boy, Unni, went on to talk about himself, and he said he was an orphan, he did not have anybody, no father, no mother, nobody. To the point where he begged Kururama, can I stay with you? Please, you give me food, and you don't have to give me free food, please. I will do everything like collecting firewood. I'll cook food for you. I'll clean your house. I'll clean the cow shed. I will collect the cow dung. Everything I will do. All I'm asking you is to give me 2 square meals per day. That's all I want. And even that, I won't ask you for high-end items. Don't worry. Normal rice, kanni, gruel is enough for me. Just give me that. I just want to fill. Kururama gladly accepts, right? She can give him 2 square meals. What is the problem? And it's a small boy. And she was already afflicted with old age and all that. She couldn't go to the forest to collect firewood and all that. Here is a boy offering to do that. Wonderful. Okay, stay with me. Great. Stay with me, you help me, I help you, fine. And she named him Sridharanunni. So Sridharanunni starts staying with her, helps her in all her household duties, and Kururama takes care of him, gives him food and all that. And she takes the freedom of scolding him, hitting him sometimes, loving him, petting him, everything. So the Amma and the boy are staying together. A long period of time passes like this, and one day, I mean, usually Amma used to go to a river to take a bath. One day morning when she was setting out to take her bath, this Unni, out of the blue, he comes and tells her, suggests, Amma, take that Vigraham with you, please. that Krishna Vigraham, that Bala Gopala Vigraham, that Bala Krishna Vigraham, take it with you, please. She's saying, why should I take it? I never take it usually. Why should I take it now? Please, I'm a small boy, right? When I asked, I never asked you anything before, so please take it. Please. So small boy, okay, I'll take it, I'll keep it on the steps. When I come back, I'll bring it. That's what's going through her mind. She takes the Vigraham and goes to the river for a bath. She goes, and surprise, this boy is following her, this little boy. And then she scolds him saying, hello, this is where women bath, you go away. Come on, go away from now. This is the ghats reserved for women, go away. She says, Illam, I'm a small boy, I can sit here, right? Please. She still refuses and he says, okay, I will go away, but on one condition. You can't leave this idol in the steps. You have to take it with you into the river. You have to go take a bath with that Vigraham only. So Kururama says, okay, she wants to get him to go away. She wants to finish a bath, go home and complete so many other things. So she agrees to this. Okay, only now you go. Please go. Let me take my bath. I will go into the river with this Vigraham. That's all what you want, right? That's it. Okay, so Unni goes away. Sridharan Unni goes away. And Kururama enters the river with this Bala Gopala Krishna Vigraham. She goes, and then nobody has heard of her ever again. Nobody has seen that Vigraham. After that, nobody ever saw Sridharan Unni also. So, definitely it was Guruvayoor who came to her to suggest the method of salvation. Guruvayoor knew that it was her last day. He knew that she is not going to come back to her illam. And therefore he said, take the Bala Gopala Vigraham with you. Sridharan Unni disappeared from that scene, taking Kururama with him, along with the Bala Gopala Vigraham. And this happened in the 18th century, when science was little more advanced than the time of Melpatur. So that is how Bhagavan came to the rescue of an old, childless widow lady. And then in the context of Krishna, suppose I talk about Srirangam. The first name that comes to mind after Perumal himself is of course Andal, right? If I talk about Vrindavan, that is where Meera loved her Lord and became one with God. If I talk about Pandharipur, it is Jannabai that comes to mind. Similarly, if I talk about Guruvayoor, it is another girl, Manjula, that comes to mind. But before that, Manjula herself was a very small child, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old girl perhaps, I don't know. But let's look at how Bhagavan, I just want to take you back to that Kururama story for one wee bit, because I want to tell you that God doesn't have to help you only when He is in this Mahavishnu Rupam. No. He can come in any form. He can come as a small child, Sridharan Unni, a small baby, a bigger child, Mahavishnu, friend, priest, anything, lover, anything. So, this episode of Guruvayoor presenting himself to Kururama as a small boy, Kuzhandai, has been captured by Pavanasham Shivan beautifully in a Chakravagam composition. Guruvayoor Guruvayoor So like I was telling, Srirangam associated with Andal always, Pandaripur, Jannabai, Vrindavan, Mirabai, Guruvayoor, Manjula. Why Manjula now? That is a big story coming next. It strings very well with what I said earlier also. Bhagavan is benevolent not only to men, not only to ladies, but very small children also. Manjula, prime example. She was just a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, or maybe 11-year-old girl born into a warrior family. Why I mentioned the family is because in Kerala in those days, the profession of people born into the warrior family was to collect choicest of flowers, string them together, make a garland for Guruvayoor. That was the profession. She was born into such a family, and so she was always in the vicinity of mother and father who used to collect flowers, make garlands, and she was growing up in that atmosphere. So she also started doing the same thing. She used to make mala. She used to make flower malas for Guruvayoor every day, morning and evening. Take it to the temple, and it became a norm for the priest to wait for her malas. And this little girl, small girl as she was particularly fond of the flower called Kanagambaram. That orange one, most of you know that, I think. Okay, so she used to pick those flowers. She thought Bhagavan loved that best. And she used to include that flower lavishly in her garland. And she used to make Kanagambara malas for God always. One day, it so happened that she and her mother had to go to a faraway land. But she was sure that she would return by afternoon. So she made the morning mala, submitted it in the sanctum sanctorum to the priest, and then told the priest that she'll be back in time to string the evening mala and bring it. But as time would have it, she could not reach back on time, and she did not reach back on time to make the evening mala. So when she came back, it was nightfall, but she still, without any idea of what was going on around her, she only knew that she had to make that mala. She made the mala, rushed it to the temple, and the little girl was crestfallen. The sanctum sanctorum door had closed. Her mala could not be used for the evening. What can she do? What can she do? My good God, she started sobbing, crying. She was a small child, remember. She was a very small child. All she knew that she had to submit this mala. But that day she could not do it. And then she was crying terribly, unconsolably. And at this time, remember the Poontanam story I told you about? That Poontanam was her contemporary, and he was almost always in the position of her father or guru, always. So he had also come to the temple, and he consoled her first, saying, Manjula, please don't cry, please don't cry. It is okay, you are a small child, right? You can make 2 malas tomorrow and submit it to God. Okay, you make 2 malas in the morning, you make 2 malas in the evening, no problem. Manjula would not be consoled. She said, no, today's mala I have missed, right? I have missed. Guruvayoor could not wear my mala. What do? I have to somehow make him wear this, I know only that. So then Poontanam, in order to just go along with her, she was a little girl, remember, and in order to go along with her demands, he said, okay, the sanctum door is closed now, we can't open it. So there is one solution. See, about few meters down the east side of the temple, of this temple, there is a big, huge peepal tree. In Malayalam, peepal is called Aal, so it was called Aalmaram. There is this Aalmaram about few meters down on the eastern side. There is a small Krishna Vigraha under that Aalmaram. Go, put your garland on that Krishna. And somehow Manjula thought, okay, this was a better proposition than making 2 malas tomorrow and make him wait today and all that. So she went and put her mala, that day's evening mala. She put it around Krishna's neck late at night because she had come late. And she went home and probably was consoled a little bit, and so probably she slept off or something. Next morning, 2:30, the main priest, male Santhi, comes for opening the door for Nirmalya Darshanam for everybody. And what usually happens is, Nirmalya Darshanam is for a few minutes only. After that, the male Santhi tries to take off all yesterday's alankaram and mala and dress and all those things. He anoints the god with gingerly oil and then gives the traditional bath called Abhishekam, and then he goes on to perform the alankaram. Before that, the particular thing at Guruvayoor is that you have something called Vaga Chat also. Vaga is a nice perfumed powder, if I may call it, podi.
So that is anointed on the god after the oil. So for doing all this, the point is that the male Shanti opened the door and he started removing all yesterday's ornaments and alankaras, malas, garlands, everything. He removes everything, and just as he takes the gingerly oil to anoint the Lord, he found another mala on the Lord. He thought, okay, it is my oversight, I must have missed removing it. He removes it and then takes the oil again, finds another mala there on the chest. Removes it again. This goes on for 4, 5, 6 times. He takes off the mala only to find it on God's chest again. Takes off the mala only to find it on the chest again. So he comes running out of the sanctum and tells the story to everybody present over there. Pundanam, as usual, was present for the Nirmalya Darshanam, and he was also wondering why this is happening, my good God, why this is happening. Suddenly he recalls Manjula's mala. Yesterday night, that Vigraham. So he said, yesterday Manjula, that little girl called Manjula had come here. She could not offer the garland. I made her offer it to that Krishna over there. Somebody needs to go and remove it from there. Only then this will come off. So everybody rushed to that little Krishna under the peepal tree, removed that garland, and needless to say, this garland came off and they could get on with the routine. So after the routine and all that, Pundanam and male Shanti, everybody hurried to Manjula's house to tell her the story of how God had accepted her mala, her Kanagambara mala. This again happened somewhere in 17th century, 18th century. So they ran to her house. No house, nobody there. Again, till date, we don't know what happened to Manjula. She went, joined God along with her mala. So that is why I said Srirangam Andal, Vrindavan Meera became one with the Lord, Pandaripur Jannabhai, Guruvayoor Manjula. And so that peepal tree, that alamaram, which is just a few meters away from the Nada, from the sanctum on the eastern side, that is present to date. Even now with the little Krishna under that. So that alamaram, in memory of this little girl called Manjula, it is called Manjula, Manjula almaram. Manjula. And in that context of little children being blessed, I want to tell you one very interesting story of a little boy also, a very little boy. He was called he belonged to a house called Nenmani, so he was called Nenmani Unni. His father was a priest of Guruvayoor temple at that point when I am telling the story. So the father used to do all the pujas, Alankaram, Abhishekam, Naivedyam, everything. One day it so happened that the father had been called off to some other duty and nobody else knew how to perform Guruvayoorappan's pujas perfectly. So the father suggested that my son has watched me do all these things every day. Let him do it for today. Tomorrow I'll come and take over again. So everybody agreed to that proposal. And that day's puja was supposed to be done by Nenmani Unni. So he did all this. He took off all the alankaram. He did the abhishekam, everything. And then it was time for Naivedyam now. So everybody brought in that rice and curds and everything what usually is offered to Guruvayoorappan. They brought it in, and as is the practice in Kerala temples, during Naivedyam the door is always closed. And you see only after the god has eaten. So the door closes for Naivedyam, and now let me transport you to the scene inside the Sanctum Sanctorum. What is happening is Unni is sitting over there and asking God, please take the rice, please take the curds, please take the milk, please take. Krishna, you are my friend, right? Please take. Krishna doesn't come, right? As if all the Naivedyams are eaten by the gods. Do they offer? Do they take it? No. Naivedyam was offered to God, we bring it out and we eat it. Right, usually. Okay. So that's what used to happen at Guruvayoor temple also. Naivedyam was offered by the father Nambudri. It used to be brought out and everybody who used to partake of it. But today, the little boy was sitting inside and saying, Krishna, take. Please take this rice. Please take this curds. Please take this milk. Everything. Krishna wouldn't come and the boy started crying. Why are you not taking? Did I go wrong in doing some puja? Why are you not taking? My father will come and start hitting me. I didn't do something right. That is why you are not taking. And he sat in deep thought. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And then suddenly he realizes something great. You know what? Rice is offered, curd is not offered, everything is offered. Everything is so bland over here. You don't have spice, right? You don't have anything spicy. That is why you are not eating. Okay. So Unni opens the door for a second, runs to his house and brings back tender mangoes which are salted in brine. Unni manga, kadu manga as it is called in Malayalam. So he brings it back and then closes the door again, starts offering Nevedyam. And he says, Krishna, now I have brought spicy thing for you to eat along with the curd. Eat it now. Please eat it, otherwise my father is going to hit me. And still Krishna doesn't come. And now this boy is lost. No suggestion is coming like that to him. What do I do with this Nevedyam now? If Krishna is not eating it, what am I supposed to do? I can't eat it. I can't go outside and tell that Krishna has not eaten it. Everybody will jump on me. Okay? So he starts crying. Small boy that he is, he starts crying. Krishna, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And then, lo and behold, the God comes as a small boy. Very small boy. And as if two friends are eating by the field side, both of them start eating it. And of course, Unni is forced to eat it because Guruvayoor forces him to eat it. Or actually the other Unni, the God Unni, forces him to eat it. Both of them together somehow eat it a little bit. Unni, the priest Unni, eats very little only because he is scared of his father. He thought that Guruvayoor had to eat everything and finish everything. So Guruvayoor comes in the Unni form, eats and goes back. And the priest Unni now very, very happy. Nevedyam is done. Now I can open the door and do all the rest of the things, including Deeparadhana. He opens the door and all the assistants over there, they are ready to bring the Nevedyam outside and then share it. When they go there, of course all the patrams, all the vessels are empty. Right? And they start questioning the Unni. What happened? What happened? You ate it. You ate everything. You're such a young boy. You have such a ravishes hunger. How come? How come you have such a big appetite? How can you eat it? You don't have anything to eat in your house, so now you're eating everything when you get it. How can you do this? They start scolding him left, right. And tearfully this little boy tries to explain, I did not eat it. Krishna ate it. Krishna ate it. He came, he played with me. And the big people there, they won't believe it. They will never believe it. They start scolding the boy, hitting him. By this time, the father also comes back. And unfortunately, the father also doesn't believe the son. And starts scolding, hitting, everything. And by now, Guruvayoor is fed up of these people's mistakes. A little boy is getting hit and getting scolded and all that for Guruvayoor's mistake. So-called mistake. Guruvayoor can't stand it. He appears as a light over there and just decrees, I am the one who ate that. Don't scold the boy. And after this episode, that Kadumanga thing, that Unnimanga thing is a permanent Nevedyam fixture at Guruvayoor even today. It has to be there. If God is offered rice, curds, milk, anything, this Vadumanga has to be there. Unnimanga. So Vadumanga, all that became Unnimanga. So why were we saying this story? God blesses men. God is very benevolent to women. God is even more loving and benevolent to little children. He appears as a child to anybody who calls him like that. So thus we have Nenmani Unni's story also. And like I was trying to take you back, we were trying to relate all this thematic storytelling to Carnatic music also. So when I talk about Carnatic music, all of you sitting here would have definitely heard about Chembai Vaidyanatha Bhagavatar. Sangeeta Kalanidhi. And now from very ancient times, 15th century, 16th century, I think I tried to bring you through 17th century, 18th century, Chembai Vaidyanatha Bhagavatar, our time, our generation. 20th century, 21st century. So, I have to tell a story now, right? I can't just tell a name and then say Chembai. Okay. What happened was, his profession was singing, as you all know. So his voice was his biggest possession. It so happened that one day he lost it totally. And because it's 20th century, of course doctors were there, that doctor, this doctor, ENT specialist, throat specialist, everything was there. Nobody could cure him. He could not just get back his voice, he could not just sing. And he was a person, even when he was not in concerts, he used to call Krishna, 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 Krishna 24 hours. He was staying at a place near Guruvayoor. And he decided to do something called bhajanam at Guruvayoor. This is not the bhajans that we think it is. Bhajanam is staying near or inside the temple for 41 days doing nothing but prayers to God and sustaining oneself on the Naivedyam and Naivedyam only. And you have to be present at every single puja done to God, every single offering made to God. All Chembai decided to undertake that. He went to Guruvayoor and started undertaking the 41-day bhajan. He said, Guruvayoorappa, no doctor could cure me actually. You are Dhanvantari Murti also, the Supreme God, right? And if those of you who consider Shiva Vaidyanatha as the God, well, you are his brother-in-law. So you have to cure me of this complete ailment. Please. And he started. And he kept on asking Guruvayoorappa, Guruvayoorappa, please, why this delay in showing your mercy to me? Why? You are supposed to be a Sharanagata Vatsala. You are supposed to be available on call. Why this delay in showing your mercy to me? Karuna Jivan Yendu Tamasam Krishna Krishna, you are the Sharanagata Vatsala. Why this delay in showing your mercy to me? Karuna Chevan, Endu Tamasam Krishna. Why this delay? What did I do? I've been singing and singing, nothing but singing and singing about you, right? So he sang like that 41 days bhajanam at Guruvayoor. 41st day, he did get back his voice. 41st day evening, he had a concert at Guruvayoor. In memory of this incident which took place in our generation, in our living times, recent past, Chembai Sangeetotsavam is held at Guruvayoor. Chembai, it's as a mark of respect to the departed Chembai, of course. But I believe, I don't know if this is true, but this Karuna Chevan is being sung at every single concert, every single artist singing over there. It's an Yadukala Kamboji composed by Irayamman Thambi. So now, following my line of story, God was benevolent to men, is benevolent to men. God is very, very benevolent and very, very, he blesses women. He blesses little boys and little girls. So now the question, does he bless only human beings? Not at all. Again, no way. Okay. He is there as a blessing person, very benevolent, on call again, even for animals. And to elaborate that story or to tell you more about that, I'm going to tell you about an elephant called Keshavan. Again, this happened in the very recent past. Keshavan was born in 1913, a little elephant, Kuti elephant. And at that time, I'm not sure if I get the fact right, but at that time apparently in Kerala, the problem called Malabar Mutiny was taking place. I'm not sure if I got the historic fact right. And there was mob violence, there was these mutineers who would go house to house, take everything, kill people. So many things were happening, bad things were happening over there. So the Nilambur royal family, Nilambur Kovilagam, they decided to make an offering to Lord Guruvayoor. They said, it was a unique offering at that time. It is not like I'll come and pray, I'll do bhajans, nothing like that. They decided to make a unique offering. They said, I'll give an elephant to the temple if the mutineers don't reach my home, if the mob violence doesn't reach our home, our Kovilagam. And we can call it Guruvayoor's blessings. Nothing happened to their home. The Kovilagam was intact. And true to their word, in 1923, they donated an elephant to the Guruvayoor Devasam board, and that elephant was named Keshavan. It grew up in Guruvayoor. And what is so special about the elephant? It started showing very unique devotional characteristics right from small. The first episode that this is happening somewhere in the 1950s and all that. So this is the story when in the beginning I told you that I heard from my mother. First-hand experience, first-hand relation to me. So it is not to prove that my mother was there or anything, but to prove that it happened recently, very recently. So the first episode that she always says happened was the Keshavan was about 15 years old or 16 years old. At that time there was a businessman in Guruvayoor who had run into some bad times. He was facing losses in his business, and he immediately came to Guruvayoor temple, prayed to the deity, and he said, if I start doing all right, if I start making profit, I am going to offer you a certain amount of money. And again, Guruvayoor's blessings, he did do well in business, he did make profit, but conveniently forgot about his promise to Guruvayoor. But this promise that he had made to Guruvayoor actually happened in his home. When he was in his home, he was promising, only his wife was present. And then he went on to make profit and forgot about his promise to Guruvayoor. One fine day, Keshavan was returning from his bath, and this man's house on the roadside, Keshavan chose to destroy that house. Hit it down. It was a tiled house. He hit on the tiles, broke all the tiles and went. And then the next day this man could not understand what was happening, why it was happening and all that. And finally it dawned on him, oh my good God, this happened. See, there were so many houses over there. How come only this house Keshavan chose to hit and break all the tiles, all the windows, all the window panes, everything? There were so many houses in the lane like that, including my mother's house. How come? Then this man realized, oh my God, I went back on my promise. I have to do this. I really have to do this. And he did that. And after that, this is a story, I don't know if it is true. In one particular contract or business or something, he made the profit exactly same as the amount he owed to the temple. So that was the first incident. After that, these elephants, when they become mature, every season they go into this thing called mast, right? Sometimes they become wild for a few days, and at that point of time they are always chained or tied or something like that. The Keshavan was no exception. He was a huge mammal. So once when he went into his mast, he was tied up with a rope. And God knows what got into him. He decided to break that rope and run. And then the story got around, oh my God, there is a wild elephant on the loose. Everybody take cover, please. Everybody be safe, please. There was this government announcements made over the radio saying, please take cover, go into your houses, lock yourself, be safe inside your house. All these government announcements. People used to carry microphones in those days and take it and drive around in a jeep. So announcements were made like that and Keshavan started running. But the good part is that most of the other elephants, when they go into must, they get into a violent mode. And this Keshavan did not show any destructive mode. He was just running wildly here and there. He did not show any destructive mode at all. On his way, we don't know where he was running to. On his way, everybody took cover and they were watching from a safe distance. Unfortunately for one beggar, he was right in the center of the road and he was suffering from leprosy, which made him unable to move. He heard these announcements. Elephant is coming, wild elephant is coming, take cover. He is a huge, Keshavan is a huge tusker standing 3 meters or taller. The leper could not do anything. So he said, okay, this is the end of my day, I can't do anything, I will at least call Krishna. Krishna, 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 Narayana, Narayana. Elephant came and mom, her cousins, all of them were watching from the window. This leper is gone today. Sure, he's going to be crushed to death. And will you believe what happened next? The elephant lifted the man entirely like that, placed him to the side, and then went on his way. Nothing happened to that leper. And that journey did not stop there. The kind of a little bit of wild elephant continued on his journey after saving this leper's life. And people even today, we believe, people like me from Kerala, we believe that happened because he called Narayana, at least in the last minute. Right. Okay. So the elephant continued on his, I don't want to say its journey, on his journey. Continued on his journey. And again, unfortunately, it was the release time for an elementary school. And again, unfortunately, because the kids were inside the class, they had not heard the announcements on the radio that this elephant was running. So the school was released and the kids were all running out. They ran out onto the path of this wild elephant. And then people stood in shock. Okay, so many kids are going to be killed today. Trampled today. Again, divinity showing its presence over there. Would you believe it? This wild elephant running in its must stood aside to the road, stood aside one side of the road. All the kids passed by and this one started running again. And then whenever he gets into this elephant gets into the must, always he's running somehow, whichever way he finds, we won't even know which way. The running would ultimately end at Guruvayoor Nada, inside the temple, always. And then he was, like I said, he was a very majestic tusker standing over 3 meters tall. He had one unique or weird characteristic. Whenever this function, temple festivities would go on, in Kerala there is this practice of having the Utsava Murti on an elephant. Always. So Keshavan had this unique, what do you say, very stubborn nature. That Guruvayoor Vigraham can be only on his head, not on any other elephant. He would literally make a fight with any other elephant or any other mahout for that matter until the Guruvayoor Vigraham was on his head. And another characteristics, again I would, those of you who don't know about Kerala Shiveli, please pardon me, but I want to tell you, on an elephant, usually there is one person holding the Guruvayoor Vigraham. Immediately behind him, you have another person holding something called the Alavatam, like this one, those round things, made with peacock feathers usually. And behind that, you have the Venchamaram, made with white hair, which is used to fan Swami. And behind that, you have another person holding the umbrella, big decorated capucine. So whenever Bhagavat Shiveli needed to be taken out, again the uniqueness of that elephant's character, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The man holding the Guruvayoor Vigraham, for that man to climb on Keshavan would fold its four legs. because the Guruvayurappan Vigraham was there, and immediately stand up, meaning others could not climb up to that way. And then how do the others climb up? He will slowly bend his back legs and others can climb up through the back. The person holding the Guruvayurappan Vigraham can climb through the front legs. That was the amount of divinity that was there in that elephant. And then at that time, Guruvayoor temple was under the control of a committee which was based at a place called Tirunavai. And Tirunavai was the place where all the elephants were held, the elephants which are used for the celebrations. And whenever there was a festivity in Guruvayoor people needed to go and ask them, beg them, and then they would send the elephants and the festivities would take place. One such occasion, something happened between these two temples or between these two, and the Tirunavai people refused to send elephants for Guruvayoor festivities. And believe it or not, this happened in 1930s or 40s or something like that. About 11 elephants exactly broke their chains or ropes from Tirunavai, ran all the way to Guruvayoor to be present here on the first day of the festivities. It's a 10-day festival in Guruvayoor. So all the 11 elephants ran, broke their chains, ran, came here, stood ready. And of course Keshavan was in the center. I have to hold Guruvayoor. So to mark that episode that happened in the very recent past, even today during the Guruvayoor 10-day function, there is a event called Aane Otam, which literally means elephant race, and it is a race for elephants. They have to run that particular distance, come into the temple, whichever elephant comes first will get maybe, I don't know, a big banana loaf or whatever. All those things. So that is Aane Otam, which is being conducted even today as a commemoration of that event. And how do I know about it? It's again from my mother and cousins. When this Aane Otam is being conducted, my mother and cousins were small children, it seems. They used to hang on to the elephants' tails. Because of the added weight over there, the elephants would run faster. In a method of getting rid of this weight also, they would swing it. And these kids will get a free swing on the way. So Aane Otam is conducted like that. And the last thing I want to tell you about that elephant, I'm sure it will move everybody here who is listening. Towards the end of his life, this was somewhere in 1976, he was old-aged elephant now. He became terribly sick. He was running very high fever. Keshavan was running very high fever. And tears used to pour down his eyes. Veterinarians came, checked him, so many things. They just could not get him to stand up. He was that weak and he was completely crying and all those things. 1976, mind you, very recent past. And so the elephant was sick for about 4 days, 5 days, taking very minimal, just water, minimum food. It could not even eat solid food or anything like that. On the 11th day of the elephant's sickness, it so happened that it was Ekadashi day. And the elephant that could not get up in the past 10 days got up, stood on its 4 legs on Ekadashi day, rearranged itself in the east-west position, put its trunk up like that towards the Guruvayoor temple and Guruvayurappan, breathed its last. So at that spot there, the Devasam, in commemoration of this elephant, they have erected a life-size statue. And only to that elephant they have given a title called Gajaraja. No other elephant has been given that till now. So that proves my point, right? God is benevolent to each and every one of us, irrespective of gender, age, caste, anything. All you have to do is just call out to Him, Krishna, Krishna. And people who hail from Kerala, even today, we believe that this Keshavan, Guruvayoor Keshavan, is actually a reincarnation of that Gajendra who got his feet between crocodiles' teeth, and Mahavishnu himself came on Garuda with Rukmini Devi, cut off the crocodile's head with Sudarshana Chakra, saved that Gajendra. We really believe that Keshavan is a reincarnation of that elephant. And which composer, which poet has not sung about Gajendra Moksha? Here is a Mysore Vasudevacharya composition. Saying all you need is to call out to him. He is available on call in any form. Krishna is all you have to do, or Narayana is all you have to do. But the point is that you have to call from the heart. It has to come from the heart. Bhakti has to penetrate your heart and then come out through your tongue. Narayana endru navara azhapporku varum idai thavirthu வாஞ்சையுடன் காக்கும். So if you call out to him, he gets rid of all your obstacles and behaves as if he is on your beck and call. Narayana yana navara azhapporku Narayana yana navara azhapporku Narayana yana navara azhapporku Christian composition in Riti Gowda. So coming back to my point, he is available anytime. All you have to do is to call out to him. Such is the Mahatmyam of Guruvayoor and Mahima of Guruvayurappan. He is available as a lover. We just saw that. Available. He was available to Mirabai. He was available to Manjula. Available to Andal. He is available as a friend. Sure, Sudama, Kuchelan, and then this Nenmani Onni. He is available as a son, Kururama, right? And if you go, Yashoda. He is available as a healer, a doctor. We saw that in case of Melpatur Narayana Bhattadari, right? Curing him of his rheumatoid arthritis. And in this context, I just want to quickly rush you through another story also. Arjuna the Pandava had married Krishna's sister called Subhadra, and to them was born Abhimanyu. And Abhimanyu unfortunately was killed in the Kurukshetra battle, Mahabharata battle. But Abhimanyu's wife Uttara at that time was pregnant with Abhimanyu's child, and when the child was born, the child was called Parikshit. And Parikshit, due to a small inadvertent mistake, happened to be cursed, saying that he will die by the bite of a big serpent naga called Takshaka. And that did happen. But of course, last 7 days of his life, he listened to the Bhagavatam. That is all another story and all those things. But Parikshit did die by the bite of Takshaka. Parikshit's son was Janamejayan. And Janamejayan was livid with rage. He thought that his father had not been dealt with fairly for such a small mistake, and that too the one which was committed inadvertently. Such a huge punishment like that of venom of Takshagan entering him. No, he got very angry and he decided to do the Sarpasatram. Sarpasatram is a big yaga or yajna whereby by powerful mantras you invoke all the Sarpas. All the Nagas and Sarpas are drawn into the sacrificial fire and they die, of course, because it's fire. And he started doing this, all the innocent lives, innocent reptiles were also drawn into the fire. Not just Takshagan, right? Takshagan was a wrong person, yes, okay, fine, he bit Parikshit. But why all reptiles? Why all Nagas? So because of Janamejayan's Sarpasatra Yajnam, so many innocent reptiles also lost their lives for no reason. Of course, Atri Muni's son came and stopped the sacrifice. Again, that is another story, maybe I'll tell it at another occasion. But the point remains that Janamejayan committed a little bit of sin, atrocity by killing innocent reptiles. So as a result of that, as a result of his karma, he was afflicted with leprosy. And at that time there was no cure for leprosy, and therefore the only advice he got from his guru was go to Guruvayoor, do bhajana. And it is believed that he came to Guruvayoor, he did bhajana, and he was cured of his leprosy and his ignorance. It was his ignorance that he decided to kill all the snakes, right? It was his ignorance that he thought that his father was unjustly punished. There were so many stories associated with Parikshit's punishment, so many stories associated with how the pregnancy in Uttara's stomach was tried to be destroyed by Ashwathama and all those, so many other stories. So actually Janamejayan was ignorant of all this, and that is why he did all this, right? So by sitting in bhajanam at Guruvayoor, he was cured of his ignorance and of his leprosy. And why did I suddenly recall the story? It is because I wanted to prove the point that God is present for us as healer also, as a doctor also. And we looked at Velpathur's story already. So let me recount that once more. He is available to you as lover if you want to. Examples: Mirabai, Andal, Jenna, Jennabai, Manjula. He is available to you as a friend if you want him to. Sudama, Kuchelam, Nanmani Unni. Right? He is available to you as a son, Kururama, Yashoda. He is available as a healer, Janamejayan, and Velpathur, Narayana Bhattadri. He is available as a rescuer, as a soldier if you want him to, Manga Attachan, who saved saved Pundana from the mob of robbers. He is available as a philosopher, guide, guru, Arjuna. Was he not a friend? Was he not a relative? He was Arjuna's brother-in-law. He was a philosopher. Where else do you get such huge philosophies like the Bhagavad Gita? He was a guide. He told Arjuna, karma, that is your duty, you do what you have to do. He was an ideal brother to Subhadra. He was an ideal mama to Abhimanyu. Everything. Point being, he is available as anybody you choose to see him as. It is up to you to call him. You can call him in any which form you want. And such is the Mahima of Guruvayurappan and Mahatmyam of Guruvayoor, that the latest miracle to happen over there is that there was a great fire. The temple caught fire actually this happened in 1970. But again, what else can you call it other than a miracle when I tell you that only the Sri Kovil, the Sanctum Sanctorum, was not destroyed at all. The Chittambalam, the Nalagette, everything else was burned down due to an electrical short circuit or something like that. But the Sri Kovil remained intact. So with this many incidents, mythological stories, legends, everything happened in our recent past, is it not a definite proof that divine presence is there? Guruvayoor is available even now to us. So connecting back to how I started, chanting his names, singing his songs, listening to them, those are the easiest ways of salvation, moksha. Nama Sankirtanam in this Kali Yuga. That is all we can think of. So we sing. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mahadevan. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja So I tried the Harikatha here. Maybe there are several rules governing the Harikatha. Maybe I didn't follow any of them. But again, that's my ignorance. So I seek forgiveness from Lord Guruvayoor and from all of you if I have made any errors in presenting. Second thing, factual errors. Like I said, very few of my stories are first-hand experience from my mother or her cousins or something like that. The others have been drawn from several sources. So if there is an error, factual error, I really seek your forgiveness for that. It was not intentional. Then if there has been any disconnect in the stories, I seek your forgiveness for that also. Kayena vacha manasendriyaiva buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhava karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayana yeti samarpayami. So all we have to do is call out his name. So after thanking all of you for attending, Murli and Krishna for very, very ably supporting me and patiently supporting me, and Mama for providing this opportunity, my family who has been there with me for anything and everything. I want to bring this program to a conclusion. And recently I learned a Mangalam from one of my students. Will you believe that? I thought it was very apt to sing here. It is the Dashavatara Mangalam. So, Makutake Mangalam, Matsyavatare, Makutake Mangalam, Gurvanige, Makutake Mangalam, Matsyavatare, Makutake Mangalam, Gurvanige, Sukhatake Mangalam, Sukararubhage, Nakake Mangalam, Narasimhanige, Sukhatake Mangalam, Sukararubhage, Nakake Mangalam, Narasimhanige, Vakshake Mangalam, Vaduvamanage, Vakshake Mangalam, Vaduvamanage, Vakshake Mangalam, Varashpura